Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me in another video. So today I thought we would talk about the most important handbags of 2025, or this is apparently a list of the most important handbags of 2025. Now I saw this article on Purse Blog, so I will link it down below if you are interested in reading more about it, but it was a great article. I thought it was very fun. I thought it was very interesting how they use the term most important. Normally I don't see that word used when describing handbags, but when I read the article, made more sense. What they mean is that these bags are important not only just in how they've defined the style or defined handbags, but also how they are important to the fashion brand, to the house, and how that brand is perceived. Because again, a good handbag can make a huge difference in terms of the trajectory, the success of a brand, the commercial success of a brand, how we perceive a brand. I recently did a video on Totem and how the success of the T-Lock bag has really helped bring that brand into a whole different customer awareness. That bag alone, even if you weren't someone that had ever heard of this brand, you may have seen it, may have been something that you became aware of. It may not necessarily be a brand that you buy from, but when a brand has a really good bag, it speaks to, I think, a greater audience. Another bag that also was very similar last year was the Laurel Piana bag. There was something about that bag that really connected with a lot of people, and I also think gave a lot of exposure to that brand as well. So I thought it was a super interesting way of looking at handbags, not just these were the best sellers or these were the hottest, although these are very, very hot handbags, but what about these bags that made them important for the brand as well as important for fashion? So the first bag that they mention is the Alaïa Latecal bag. Now we have been talking about this brand, I feel especially this past quarter due to the list index, there was just a lot more hype around this brand, but I feel like we've been talking about Alaïa, especially this handbag, since early 2024. We've definitely seen the popularity of the east-west silhouette. Latecal means dash hound in French. Latecal, that's so cute. I have to admit, I think it's a really cool bag. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, all these girls, they look so cool. All of these hot influencer girls. What is interesting to me is we are still seeing the east-west trend quite heavily on the runways. There is a presence of this style of bag. One of my reluctances earlier this year was, is this something that is going to last? And clearly it is something that we are still seeing. I would say this is probably, of all the bags from Alaïa, this is probably my favorite. I do like that heart bag, but there's something about this bag that is just really speaking to fashion in 2024. I think has also elevated this brand. Of course, the brand has also been gaining more recognition due to those ballet flats, those mesh ballet flats. As I said earlier, this is something I'm okay with waiting on. It's not something I feel I need to buy this right now. Like, I think a lot of the fashion girls are buying this right now, and it's like one to buy if you are like fashion girl. I'm not gonna lie though, it kind of reminds me of, do you remember when there was the Bottega Veneta, the Jodie bag, and that was like everywhere on like all the influencers, all the hot girls, they just had this bag. It was a Daniel Lee creation. Also the pouch, I'd also include that as well. There's something about seeing it on Instagram, on social media, all the chic influencers and stylish influencers, fashion girls, but there was something about that bag where I was just like, okay, with that we will just hold off and see how we feel. The more I held off, the more my interest in that bag has declined. There was something that was always just kind of like, is this the one for me? And then earlier this year I picked up that old Celine, the eyelet pouch with that top handle, and that was more a style that felt better for me. I'm clearly not the person where I need to buy the trend now. I'm okay if I wait. Even if it becomes out of trend, I'm okay with that. That's to me how I determine how much I like a bag, and I just feel like I'm sure a lot of you guys, very susceptible to influencing. Sometimes it's been great, but sometimes I'm like, oh, this isn't actually that great. If I just waited, I might have changed my mind. But again, do I like this bag? Yes, I think it is so chic. It is just totally a defining bag. It has this cool, like sexy, I don't want to say like minimal, but it's like sleeker, more like architectural, very structured, very shiny. There are a lot of things about this bag I do like, but I'm also the kind of person where I just like a lot of bags at the end of the day and I can't buy them all, so I have to be really particular about what I buy. Again, this looks like the epitome of chic every time I see it. Okay, the next bag that we have here is the Miu Miu Adventure bag. We've talked about this bag before, I think, when talking about the brand Miu Miu. They mentioned in this article how this was a defining bag for 2024, as well as for Miu Miu, because it's not so much just this bag, but it's more so the fact that you would jazz it up with bag charms. Now, I think this is true for a lot of Miu Miu styles. If I think about that other east-west zippered rectangular bag, I do feel like I've been seeing the Adventure more. There's also that tote style, but yeah, I can see why they put the Adventure here because of the bag charm trend. I think you could probably also make the case for, it's not on this list, but I do think the Balenciaga, the Rodeo bag, I feel like that was an important bag for the brand. There's something about that style with the bag charms and how we saw it on the runway and it was worn in quote-unquote Jane Birkinification, how we style and choose to wear our handbags in 2024. With that style, it sort of like signaled that more people were willing to wear this brand, with more celebrities, girls choosing to wear it, more influencers wearing it. But again, I think also Balenciaga has had a resistance just because honestly a lot of people, due to that marketing ad that they had, so maybe Miu Miu, it's just a little bit more friendlier in terms of its appeal. And it's, yeah, I think Miu Miu is just overall has been gaining more hype and notoriety. It's just overall a brand more people are probably more comfortable with wearing. It's interesting that both of these brands did that around the same time. Next we have the Ro Margot. Now, of course, this to me is very much, I would say, an important bag for me in terms of 2025. Yes, it's definitely been a style that has inspired other brands, other bags to look like it, be it the Prada, and we'll get into other styles as well. But this bag has actually been around for 6 years. This isn't a new bag. Been worn for many years by Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, both of them. So there's something about this bag, this style, the way it's worn. There is something about it that has made it one of the defining bags of 2024. I am biased in that I will say it is my most worn handbag. I just love the design. It's just beautifully made. I think that's just really important to me, beautiful design, when looking at these lists. Whenever looking at like what is trending, what is the hottest bags, again, to me, I will just say it's a very important bag to me. It's an important bag for the brand. I think it has elevated the brand, and more people started paying attention to handbags from the Ro after this bag became more popular. Just to me personally, just for my personal lifestyle. And I think that's really what matters at the end of the day. We can talk about what are the hottest bags, what are the hottest trends, but what about these bags will serve you and how will they benefit your style or benefit how you like to wear a bag? Is there something innovative about it that appeals to you? But I would love to know, what is your most important bag of 2025? Whatever that means to you. It can mean it was the most important in terms of it was the style that you connected with or really defined your style, or there's something about it that maybe it was your most worn bag. Maybe it was a bag that you took out from your closet that you forgot you had and you're so glad you wore it. I would love to know what is the most important, however you want to use this word, important to your style, important to how you wear a bag, how maybe it changed your style. Would love to know what is the most important bag to you in 2025. Maybe it was something that was a milestone. Maybe it was something that you were working towards. It could be that as well. But please let me know in the comments down below. The next bag that I want to mention here is the Coach Empire bag. Very similar to the Margot. We've got those side sangles, but at least I can respect this bag. Looking at that Prada bag, like, come on, that's just a straight up dupe with the triangle. This is its own design. This is a bag in its own right. It has the side sangles, but it's doing its own thing. It was presented on the runway, making its own statement. Unlike when Prada had it styled, it was very the Ro, I'm not gonna lie, how they would like style it in ads. They took a style that did gain more popularity, but they made it their own. And not only that, but they also made it more affordable, more approachable in price point. And I think that is also important to point out. Like, there's an importance about this bag because in a time in 2024 where it was revealed, especially very much revealed with recent news, how some of the most expensive brands with the most expensive bags are making them in quote-unquote sweatshop-like conditions, right? Allegedly, and all of that. I think after that, a lot of customers realized, you know what? If the make of these bags, the quality of these bags, the conditions of the workers that are making these bags, it's just not there, why not just go for a Coach bag? I totally understand why more customers are making the switch over or just choosing to, instead of buying a $4,000 or $5,000 handbag. They're like, you know what, let's just buy a $500, or maybe this is probably a little bit more, buy a Coach bag for a fraction of the price and then put the rest of that in their savings or put that towards something else. I even just get this in my comment section. A lot of you guys that wear Coach legitimately say that this is better quality than luxury brands. Totally get why this bag, not just in terms of its style, but I also think how like Coach is challenging a lot of these luxury brands. Like they are challenging, you know, a lot of these legacy luxury brands that have been put on this pedestal for so long, and they're saying, hey, we can do everything you can do at a better price point. And then the final bag is, I don't know if I 100% if this would be my choice, but I thought it was an interesting choice to pick as like the 5th most important bag of 2024, and this is the YSL or the Saint Laurent Y tote. So to me, this kind of remains to be seen. We've seen it on a multitude of celebrities, and for the brand, I do think if they do continue using this Y motif, it does signal, I think, a change in the brand. Instead of the metal YSL logo with like the gold or the silver hardware, this is just a little bit more understated. So if they are using this motif more, it does sort of signal at least a whole new line or a whole new like approach to how they want to offer bags. It's very reminiscent of the Stefano Pilati era, the Easy Y bags, but this feels a little bit more cleaner, just a little bit sleeker for 2024. And also just this silhouette, I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of this tote style. It's very similar to Louis Vuitton Neverfulls that we are seeing. Of course, that bag has had a moment as well. I would probably say even more discussion. It's been more of a phenomenon in 2024, or at least it's been more influencer driven in a very extreme way, the inside out phenomenon. But again, people argue this is something that has always existed. There's the recent Birkin inside out style, but other brands have done this in the past. The Margot has their inside out bag. Even just when I think about one of the selling points behind a lot of the Goyard totes is that it is reversible. It does have that inside and out feature. Maybe the Neverfull isn't featured because maybe it's not really that groundbreaking in the end. But do I think the Y tote is one of the most important bags of 2025? I do think it's probably important for YSL if they continue in this direction, definitely. But I think time will like only really tell, and it's a very new bag. But when I talked about that bag, a lot of you guys seem to really like it, so maybe it is like a really hyped hot bag. Anyways guys, that is my video. I would love to know, what is your most important bag for 2024? Be that it's important in terms of maybe it changed your style, maybe it was a bag you wore quite heavily, maybe it was a bag you rediscovered, maybe it was a milestone bag. I would love to know what was your most important, however you want to look at that word. What was the most important bag for you in 2024? Please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for joining me in another one, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.